Hello everyone, I am Xiaoming Ouyang. This is a joint work with Zhiyuan Xie, Professor Jiayu Zhou, Professor Jianwei Huang, and my supervisor, Professor Guoliang Xing. Human activity recognition has lots of applications, such as fitness tracking, sleep monitoring, and social distancing. Recently, many machine learning algorithms have been applied to human activity recognition. However, current approach is most based on centralized learning that require users to send raw data, which imposes significant privacy concern. So, how about store the data locally? Federated learning is a new machine learning paradigm. It enables collaborative training models while keeping the data residing on devices. However, the single global model is not accurate for all users, as shown by several recent papers. Moreover, transmitting model weights back and forth will cause significant communication overhead. Our key insight is that there exhibits intrinsic similarities among users' activity data due to human biological features, physical environments, or sensor bias. Moreover, we show that such similarity can be captured by a cluster relationship and be exploited in federated learning. We now use a real-world case study to motivate our design. We first investigate the clusterability of 6 real-world HAR datasets involving total 180 users. We use the Hopkins statistics to show the clusterability of the datasets, where a higher Hopkins statistic means stronger clusterability. We can see that the Hopkins statistics of the datasets are all over 0.5, which shows the clusterability of users' activity data. Moreover, to show the impact of utilizing data clusterability on model learning, we choose the HHAI dataset for evaluation, which shows a clear clustering relationship. We can see that compared with the single global model, learning multiple models for different clusters shows overview accuracy improvement. To this end, we propose ClusterFL. Our goal is to learn and leverage the similarity of users to improve the overall performance of federated learning. Firstly, our solutions feature a Similarity-Aware Federated Learning Framework to improve the model accuracy. Moreover, we optimize the communication performance based on the learned relationship. Specifically, for one communication round in ClusterFL, firstly, the nodes will upload their model weights and training loss to the server. The server then dynamically groups the nodes into clusters using the updated model weights. Based on the learned cluster structure, the server updates the collaborative learning variables and drops nodes according to the two mechanisms to reduce the communication overhead. Then, the collaborative learning variables and the drop indicator will be sent back to each node. Finally, the nodes will update their models using the received collaborative learning variables and decide whether to continue the federated learning process according to the drop indicator. Firstly, for the Similarity-Aware Federated Learning Framework, suppose we have m distributed nodes in the FL system. For a specific node I, xi and yi denotes the training data pairs, and wi denotes the local model, which is an activity classifier. Then, we use capital W to denote the model weight matrix, where we customize a local model for each node. And F is a cluster indicator matrix to quantify the relationship of nodes, which will be learned on the server using W. Then, we formulate a clustered multitask federated learning problem as follows. The first term is the sum of empirical loss across nodes. The second term is derived from L2 norm regularization and k-means clustering of model weights. Therefore, the objective of the problem is to minimize empirical loss across local data while preserving the similarity of models for nodes in the same cluster. And here, as we have two variables, W and F, to be optimized, we adopt an effective distributed optimization approach called alternating optimization to alternatively update between W and F until convergence. To optimize W and the federated learning settings, the ADNN approach is adopted to update WI distributedly across nodes without sharing raw data. To learn the cluster structure F, the server uses the KL divergence of model outputs to measure the similarity of deep learning models. Finally, the procedure of updating model parameters in our framework works as follows. For the server update, based on the model weight matrix W, the server will first learn the cluster structure F, and then update the collaborative learning variables lambda I and zi for all nodes. Here, the update of collaborative variables are based on the model weights W and the cluster relationship F. For the node update, the node I will update the local model WI based on its local data and the collaborative learning variables, so as to improve the model accuracy through learning from similar nodes. Then, a major challenge of federated learning is that the communication latency will increase drastically with the number of participating nodes. For example, in our experiments, when the number of involved nodes increases from 30 to 120, the mean communication time will increase over 10 times. Our key observation to optimize the communication performance is that in our framework, the cluster structure F can be captured earlier after updated several times. As shown in this figure, through the learned cluster structure F in the 8th update, the server already captures the class relationship among nodes and is able to use this information to optimize communication performance. Therefore, we propose two new mechanisms that utilize the learned class relationship to intelligently drop nodes during the FL process. The first mechanism is named cluster-wise straggler dropout. Here, stragglers means the nodes who converge slower than others. For example, suppose we have nodes from two clusters here, in outdoor environments or in indoor environments. If we drop stragglers among all nodes, only one node will be identified. However, if we identify stragglers within different clusters, then total 2 stragglers will be dropped, thus reducing more communication overhead. Interestingly, we demonstrated in our experiments that this approach does not hurt the accuracy of learned models. Therefore, in this mechanism, the server identifies and drops stragglers within each cluster rather than from all nodes. The second mechanism is named correlation-based node selection. Firstly, for each node, we compute its mean correlation with other nodes in the same cluster. As this figure shows, compared with a baseline without dropping any nodes, the accuracy will decrease drastically when more related nodes are dropped. However, if we drop less related nodes, the accuracy performance will suffer minor degradation. Therefore, in this mechanism, the server drops the less related nodes within each cluster to reduce the communication overhead. For the experiments, we evaluate the performance using 4 new HAR datasets, including 3 datasets connected in indoor environments and 1 large-scale dataset. For the large-scale HAR box dataset, an Android application is released to connect the 9-axis IMU data of users' smartphone. We received valid data recordings from 121 users with 77 different smartphone models. We implemented a ClusterFL prototype on a PC as a server and NVIDIA Edge devices as the nodes. And we compared the performance of ClusterFL with 3 baselines, including federated averaging, federated transfer learning, and centralized learning approach. Firstly, we test the robustness of our framework under dynamic network conditions. We record the bandwidth traces of 3 mobile network connectivities in several environments. We found that the bandwidth of Wi-Fi and Ethernet are relatively stable, while the 4G LTE has substantially lower and more unstable bandwidth. as shown in the example, with a typical range in 0 to 10 Mbps. Then this figure shows the testing accuracy performance when the nodes are equipped with the above three types of mobile network traces. At the rounds labeled by the red circles, the nodes from 4G LTE are dropped due to extremely lower bandwidth. However, the blue line shows that the testing accuracy during the whole process increases steadily even with unexpected disconnections of nodes. To verify the effectiveness and scalability, we evaluate the performance with different numbers of nodes. First, for accuracy performance, we can see that in all configurations, the mean accuracy of ClusterFL outperforms other approaches. Moreover, ClusterFL has a smaller variation of accuracy, which means that it can improve model accuracy for most nodes. For the communication performance, when the number of involved nodes increases, the communication cost of nodes increases drastically. However, the full-fledged ClusterFL with communication design can save over 50% communication time, verifying the scalability of ClusterFL. We further evaluate the performance on different datasets, including the UWB, IMU, and DEPS datasets. As shown in this table, the mean accuracy of ClusterFL outperforms several learning paradigms, for example, by 6.4% to federated averaging and 5.4% to federated transfer learning. For the effectiveness of communication optimization, ClusterFL can save significant energy consumptions, for example, 50% for IMU dataset, while maintaining the accuracy performance. In conclusion, we propose ClusterFL, a similarity-aware federated learning system for human activity recognition. We utilize the intrinsic cluster relationship of user data to improve the model accuracy. Based on the learned relationship, we propose two new mechanisms to optimize the communication overhead. We also discuss some future work. First, to investigate the trade-off between privacy and utility for correlated users in federated learning. Second, to extend ClusterFL to a wide range of applications as long as the nodes exhibit intrinsic similarities. Moreover, to apply ClusterFL to FL systems with other network topologies, for example, considering direct interactions among the distributed nodes. Thanks for watching. Please refer to our paper and our lab website for more details.